Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with today's trading action. All right, now around these geopolitical events, it's hard to sort of see, the forest from the trees, really. The dollar just cruising topside, right? And this is without any sort of serious, shift in the US fundamentals. I'll show you the numbers in a second. The non-manufacturing numbers in the US were good. Durable goods, factory orders, and a whole bunch of others were not good, right? But what we're seeing is the US dollar safe haven trade. And what that snowballed into, because the trend on the longer term structure, and if I just give you a look at the live trade analysis from our site, you can see this is the long-term trends, right? And the current moves, this geopolitical event is going against all of them, right? So what that does, when you've got these long-term positions in play, there are breaking points, where at a certain point, the positions are closed out, right? This is where fund managers get absolutely hammered. And you see a lot of them go broke because they go in, boots and all. It looks clear as day that there's a great trend based on fundamentals, bonds, and everything else. And then all of a sudden, a geopolitical event arises and it just shafts the moves, right? So euro, sterling. I mean, Aussie's now starting to slide, Kiwi's getting belted, and the dollar is rallying against everything. So this is a major shift where a geopolitical event can turn into a bit of a cataclysmic, like clean out of the market. And that's what we're seeing at the moment, right? Just looking at the top sort of news here, dollar hit 6-week high before payrolls report. Okay. So as I said, there were a couple of numbers here, or one in particular that was strong, the non-manufacturing or the ISM services data, 54.9. It's pretty much above expectations. You can see factory orders lower. Durable goods was, well, still weak. And these S&P numbers were weak as well. Even the jobless claims was a little bit higher. And even with that, right, we've seen the jobless claims. I mean, it's only marginal, but we've seen marginal numbers in this number push the dollar around. But weakness is being denied, right? So you might be thinking, oh, well, am I trading fundamentally? Well, you're not, because what you're trading is the actual geopolitical event. And what we're seeing here at the moment is there's been a little bit of so the prices are down in the bonds. That means the yields are up. Higher interest rates in the US is pushing equity markets down. And that's creating a massive risk off profile in the currencies. Euro, sterling, Aussie, Kiwi down, the dollar up. Now, you can't sort of see that clearly on the currencies at the moment because after 5 p.m. New York, the clock's reset and those scales or the net change goes back to zero. But I'm telling you, that's what's happening here at the moment. The dollar is the safe haven trade, right? So what do we do with that? Well, look at your daily charts and you'll see that really on the longer term scale, the trends haven't really shifted a lot, right? They are sort of retracing back to some of their levels, but you know what? In the big scheme of things, everything's sort of business as usual. This is a big bit of noise in a segment of the market, right? And that's what you have to understand. So when you come into today, and I know a lot of traders froth over the non-farm payrolls. We've got the data coming out here. We've got the Ivy PMI numbers out of Canada. Now, if you are trading this, it's very hard to work out, does the market buy on stronger numbers? You think they would because we already have the dollar going up, but the reaction may be muted because a lot of the positions may have already been closed out. Weaker numbers, does it go down? I don't know, right? That's the question mark you get around geopolitical events. But let's just focus on the Reuters poll here for the payrolls. 140K, right? 70 to 220K, right? That's the new payrolls numbers. So then you look at the unemployment rate, right? 4.2 with a range of 4.1 to 4.3. These are the two key numbers out of all of these. It doesn't mean that the average earnings can't impact and the private payrolls and manufacturing payroll, they can all have an influence on the number. But the key numbers that the market will focus on are the payrolls numbers and the unemployment rate, okay, to start with. So as I said, it's very like in normal market conditions with good fundamentals, I would be saying very clearly that if we had stronger US numbers, the dollar goes up, right? And what I'm talking about is stronger than the poll, but generally stronger than the minimum max range. And that would be a stronger number here too. Like a lower unemployment rate is a good number, right? But I just don't know what to do as far as gauging momentum around these geopolitical events, right? Like, say, at the time of the release, there's a bit of extra carnage in the Middle East, and that may create a move either way. Or, for instance, just to give you the other end of the spectrum, they may be a miracle and they come out, okay, we're going to do a ceasefire, and everything drops. So the fundamentals get overlooked in this situation. To me, we're in a situation where there's massive run on a lot of these instruments, and that is because, as I said, the longer term trends have been debunked by this geopolitical event, and they are screwing around with serious, large, long term positions, and we are starting to see those unwind as the stop losses get triggered. Everyone, even the big fund managers, have margin calls on their big open positions, and that's what we're seeing at the moment. And when that's triggered, right, it's very hard to gauge exactly where direction's coming from. And that's the hardest part. If we don't know where direction's coming from, well, then you got to stand back and watch it. So there may be opportunities short term. Just keep your position size pretty, I would say, a little bit tight and try and manage the swings here, because at the moment, there's nothing to say it stops or nothing to say that it doesn't trigger the other way. Difficult conditions, guys. All right. Good luck. All the best. Cheerio.